Let me talk to you about a $75,000 genius move. How do you get a bad credit car loan from a credit union? How do you score a massive approval? How do you get your dream car? Let's talk about that. So here are the steps I really want you to follow. So the first thing you want to do here is you need to determine your auto loan budget. See, the whole thing is you want to buy a car, a used car, a new car, doesn't really matter, but have you thought about your budget? You got to have a budget. You got to have an auto loan budget. How much is it? 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand, 75 grand? What do you have? Think about that. And when we talk about having an auto loan budget, we're not talking about just numbers here. Those numbers must tie into your regular budget, right? Do you have a family? Do you have children? So everything must tie together. And what are your current liabilities? What kind of debts you currently have? Because see, when we talk about auto loan, we're speaking about a long-term loan. So 5 years, 7 years, in some cases 3 years, depending on the value of the loan, the value of the car. So those are long-term liabilities. So do you currently have other long-term liabilities? Do you have short-term liabilities? In other words, right now, how much debt do you have? What is your DTI, your debt to income ratio? What is your CUR on your credit card and personal line of credit? So CUR, credit utilization ratio. Why am I saying this? Because your auto loan budget will play an important role upon your other liabilities. So the question of how much car loan you can afford is not a simple one, especially considering that buying a car can be a major investment. So the best answer to that question, though, is based on your budget and your ability to repay the loan. So consider these three main steps. First of all, you want to determine your current and future financial picture. You want to consider the full cost of ownership. So when we talk about having a car, you have to account for maintenance cost, fuel cost, and insurance cost, because you have to incur those and they have to be factored in. And you want to evaluate other costs. For example, in order to make a financially sound decision, you want to keep a budget and understand what your costs outside the car are, like other debt payment. That's what I just spoke about. Okay, so determine how much to borrow and what you can afford. So we're speaking about the monthly payments, how much you can put down, how long of a loan you will need. Okay, those are important elements. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really wonderful to have you here as we're having a quick convo about how to get a bad credit car loan from a credit union. The next thing I want you to do here is to check your credit. I mean, this is really important because, right now you're telling me here, I have bad credit. So I'm looking for a bad credit car loan from a credit union. But what is your credit for real? Like, what is bad credit for you? A lot of folks are saying, well, I'm around 400, or I'm around 450, I'm around 500. So let's have a clear idea. Let's have a clear number here. Talk to me. Give me a number, a clear number. So what does that mean? That means that you have to go to annualcreditreport.com to actually clarify everything. And I'm not saying that you just go to TransUnion, to just go to your favorite credit union. To go to your favorite credit report agency and say, I love TransUnion anyway, so I'm just going to check TransUnion. No. I want you to check all three credit bureaus here, so that you have a clear idea. Okay, because you want to look at the delta. You want to look at the gap between your different scores. For instance, if Experian is saying that you have a 355 and Equifax is saying you have 420. And Experian is saying something else. You want to look at the delta, the difference. If the difference is huge, then we have a problem. Boss, we have a problem. That means what? Somebody's playing games with your credit score. So that means you want to go granular on your credit report. You have a clear idea. Once again, it's all about clarity of mind to know exactly what's really happening. If somebody is playing some game with you, somebody stole your identity, somebody has a credit card, or somebody has opened a credit card in your name, whatever, or you have collections on your account that you thought disappeared years ago, but they're still showing, then you really want to take action. That's why you want to check your credit. That's why you want to make sure that the number that you think you have in mind for your credit score is indeed that number. Okay. Remember, when we talk about you checking your credit score, we're also talking about you reviewing your credit report and checking for errors. Okay, making sure that there are no identity theft issues. So those are very important. And in some cases, you might have to do some credit repair yourself. You don't have to hire any agency to do a credit repair for you, but you might have to contact the bureaus and say, listen, I think there's a problem here. and maybe you were married to someone, and now you are divorced, and he or she is still showing on your credit report, and that could really have a negative consequence on your report. You want to fix that. Very important. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We basically are talking about a bad credit car loan from a credit union. How do you score a massive approval? So the first thing is you want to determine your auto loan budget. Second thing is you want to check your credit. The third thing is that you need to choose a few lenders you like. So when we talk about credit unions, basically you got to really think about three things. First of all, you have national credit unions, you have regional credit unions, and you have local credit unions. So when we talk about the national credit unions, we're speaking about the Penn Fed of the world. We're speaking about Navy Fed, and we're speaking about CCU to some extent, right? Consumers credit unions. When we talk about regional credit unions, we're speaking about Connexus, for instance. We're talking about Blue Fed. We're talking about Michigan Credit Union. So when we talk about the local credit union, those will depend upon your locality, your geography. So when we talk about choosing a few lenders you like, you have to be very careful about a lot of things. So how do you choose the credit unions that you like? Well, first of all, you have to think about how long you have known them. How long have you been built? Like, first of all, if you want to buy a car and you have bad credit and you want to get a bad credit car loan from a credit union, don't apply at a credit union that you just joined. It's not going to work. They're going to deny your ass like crazy. You have to be with a credit union for a while before trying to apply for a bad credit car loan. Okay, especially if you have bad credit. If you have bad credit, you got to really establish some kind of relationship first before you actually start talking about getting a car loan, because you have to understand a car loan is not a small loan. Okay, we're speaking about at least 5 digits. Okay, unless you want to buy like a 30 or 40 year car, like a used car, but usually you want to invest in a good car. Think about 5 digits. So you want to have a relationship with that credit union. You want to make sure they know you and you've been there for a while. Okay, so you want to go primarily for a regional credit union. You can go for a national credit union or a regional credit union if you indeed have the relationship. The next thing I want you to do here is to get pre-approved through the credit unions that you have chosen. Okay, so once you have picked a few credit unions, start applying for pre-approvals. And the good thing is that pre-approval sort of protects your credit score, because remember, you already have bad credit. So you want to preserve your credit score as much as possible, right? That's why you want to go for pre-approval. And a pre-approval in general also is really great because you have a clear idea, not a clear idea, but you have an approximate idea of how much you could qualify for if you were to buy a car. Okay, and so a pre-approval is a credit union's way of conditionally saying that it is willing to lend to you. You can get pre-approved by as many lenders as you like, but you want to check with a few lenders, especially credit unions, to compare the interest rates they offer. And the thing is that dealerships can also help you arrange financing, but it's worth shopping around beforehand. It's common practice for dealerships to mark up financing rates, so looking at different lenders could help you be sure that the dealership's offer is the best deal. So please apply for auto loan pre-approval. Okay, go to your local credit union, go to your regional credit union, go to your state, to your national credit unions, and apply there, and try to pre-apply there. Get pre-approved. Now, what you want to do here is you want to compare your pre-approval offers. Remember, you're trying to really get a bad credit car loan from a credit union, so you want to compare pre-approval offers, trying to get at least 2 or 3 pre-approval offers that you can just, and what you want to do is you want to sit down and really go granular on each pre-approval offer. What we're talking about, you have to look at the amounts they are willing to grant, they are willing to loan you. You want to look at the APR, of course. You want to look at the conditions, the ancillary conditions, because you have the primary conditions and you also have the secondary conditions. Things like down payments. Do they want you to put something down, or are they okay with financing the 100% of the car? Do they have any mileage restriction? Do they have anything like what about roadside assistance? Those are elements that you should really pay attention to when it comes to comparing and contrasting all the pre-approval offers that you got from your credit unions. Okay, but again, ideally you want to have one or two national credit unions. You want to have one or two regional credit unions, and you want to have one or two local credit unions. So compare those offers. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about how to get a bad credit car loan from a credit union. How do you score a massive approval? We're speaking about a maximum approval of $75,000. The next thing I want you to do here is to actually finalize the auto loan. So you want to accept an offer. It's important to understand that, you probably, if you see an auto loan offer that you're happy with, just accept it. Make sure you have the proper documentation on hand, like your driver's license, proof of income, proof of insurance, and proof of residency, depending on the lender, right? Remember, here we're not speaking about bad credit score anymore, because your score is already, is already bad. We know that, but listen, a car loan is a collateralized loan by definition, so the credit union is okay to give you the loan because they know they have the title anyway. They hold the title, okay? So you also want to bring the pre-approval paperwork and your checkbook if you are making a down payment, and the credit union will then arrange for the funds or a blank check to be sent to you or the dealership, and you are ready to buy the car. Okay, so this is kind of important. So you want to confirm the terms of the loan. This is important because the credit union, some credit unions may ask that you send in any required paperwork, including proof of insurance, before you settle on the terms and sign the documents. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to sign the auto loan documents. So once you agree on the terms, sign the documents. If you have a co-applicant or co-signer, that person should also sign the auto loan documents. And the thing is, if you have, let's say, if you have an auto loan from the dealer will provide the auto loan contract with the credit union's contact information. Okay, with the lender's contact information. And what you want to do here, you also want to get the vehicle title and registration. You must have your vehicle title sent to the credit union and the vehicle's registration updated to your name. The dealership will usually take care of this if you are buying from one. If not, work with a seller and DMV to update the necessary documents, okay? And one thing I want to say also, you also need proof of insurance. You will need that. This is important. And so, yeah, everything is fine. You just need to take possession of the vehicle. So after you get the auto loan and complete the sale, you can take possession of the vehicle and voila. But one thing I want to say here is that throughout all this process, you want to keep the credit union in the loop. If you probably have a contact there, after they sign the documents, everything, you will have a contact. Make sure if you have any question, if you have anything going on, you want to actually let your contact know at the credit union. That way, it's all about transparency here. The next thing I want you to do here is to head to the dealership, okay? And this is really, this is actually the fun part, right? You want to pick out the car, then you will sign some paperwork at the dealership. Oftentimes the lender you choose, like if you have a credit union, they will send you a blank check and you will fill out. If you fill it out once you have, once you and the dealer have settled on the price, and you will make your down payments at this point too, if any. Okay, so it's important to understand that it doesn't matter like if you have good credit or bad credit, you shop for your car. And we're looking at actually shopping, like looking up different vehicles that match your needs and go to car dealerships to test drive them. I mean, in some cases, you might have to go to multiple dealerships within the same organization to see, because let's say you want a specific car and the dealerships where you sign the paperwork, they don't have that car, but they have other branches in the area and they have the car. So you might have to go to that other dealership or other dealerships to get exactly the kind of car you want. Because the bottom line here is that if you are going to spend 20 grand or 25 grand to get a car, you better get the exact car that you want. You're not here to compromise at all. Like, I wanted to have this color, but I will settle for another color, or I wanted to have this sort of model, but they don't have it, so I might have to settle for another model. No. If you are spending that much money on a car loan from a credit union or bank for that matter, you need to get the car that you want. Okay, so what I want to say here is that this is where I was just telling you earlier that you want to keep in contact with your you want to inform your contact at the credit union. So if there's a little problem, you want to let them know, and so they know, okay, you haven't taken possession of the car yet. You're still negotiating everything else. So if there's anything they can do at their end, they'll definitely do it. But one thing I want to say here, though, it's important that as soon as you actually sign the loan documents, that you get the car ASAP. Why? Because at that point, interest will start accruing. And it's kind of weird that interest starts accruing. You're paying interest on a car that you haven't taken possession of yet. It's a little weird, right? So you want to be clear, and you want to be really fast to get your car and start enjoying the vehicle as soon as possible, because you will be paying interest. So you might as well just enjoy the vehicle. And the last thing you want to do here is to automate your payments. So normally, all credit unions will give you the option to automate your payments, and you want to do it. Why? Because you never want to forget about a car payment, especially if you have bad credit. First of all, the interest rate will be like the initial interest rate might be high, and if you happen to miss another payment, you have double consequences. First of all, your interest rate, like the credit union might want to raise your interest rate once again, and this negative situation might have an impact on your credit score. Remember, your credit score is already low, so if you have another history, like a payment history issue on your credit score, that's making your credit score even go lower. Remember that payment history accounts for 30% of your credit score, and your credit utilization rate, your credit utilization ratio accounts for another 30 or 35%. Okay, so those are important elements. By the way, payment history 35%, CUR 30%. And so it's important to automate your payments. Okay, many lenders, including credit unions, offer a small interest rate discount. They call it auto pay discount. So when you sign up for an automatic payments, so when you set up automatic payments, funds will be automatically deducted from your credit union accounts on a monthly date you choose. Autopay can be set up through your credit union online or over the phone. And many lenders and many credit unions, many banks will let you know about rate discounts before and as you apply on their websites or through the paperwork sent to you after finalizing your loan. So buying a car, remember though, buying a car is a big decision, whether you have bad credit, fair credit, or good credit or excellent credit. But you can make sure that you get the best terms possible by shopping around and pre-qualifying with different lenders, and also making sure that you understand their, like all lenders' eligibility requirements. Make sure that you, so when we talk about automating payments, that's one thing, but you also have the ability to prepay the loan. In other words, if they're telling you to pay every month $1,000, you can start paying $1,200 so that you extinguish the debt as soon as possible. You extinguish the debt earlier than anticipated, right? So this is really important. And so when you actually pay a little more than the required amount, this is kind of cool also because it reduces your DTI, it reduces your debt to income ratio, which is also positive for your credit score anyway. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. Let me quickly do a recap here. In today's conversation, I explained to you how to get a bad credit car loan from a credit union, how do you score a massive approval. We talked about a $75,000 power play here. So I spoke to you about the steps you need to follow. Determine your auto loan budget, checking your credit score, choosing a few lenders you like, getting pre-approved through those lenders, comparing your pre-approval offers, accepting an offer, heading to the dealership, and automating your payments. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.